Welcome. We have a large group of participants on today's webinar, and we welcome everyone. Today's presentation explains how GlobalPlatform, as a technical standards body, is working to accelerate the deployment of Certified Trusted Execution Environment, or TEE products, to promote a globally secure and interoperable ecosystem for connected devices. My name is L'Oreal Legate, the Marketing Director for GlobalPlatform, and our presenters today are Kevin Gillick, our Executive Director, and Gilles Bernabeu, our Technical Director. So let's look at the agenda for today. On today's session, you will learn about the value of TEE and why it must be certified to create a security baseline, understand why and how GlobalPlatform is involved in certifying TEE products. You'll be informed on the protection offered by certifying TEE products and what this means for real-world implementations. This will be a key focus of the presentation. We'll also explain the long-term benefits of certifying TEE products, and we'll conclude by explaining how GlobalPlatform will manage the ongoing certification of TEE products. Then we'll offer a Q&A session. To submit a question at any time during the live session, please use the GoToWebinar question box and hit send. And we'll answer as many questions as possible during this 40-minute session. And if we don't get to all the questions, we will answer and respond via email within 48 hours. So I'm pleased now to turn the presentation over to Kevin Gillick to offer a brief introduction to our standards body.
Thanks so much, L'Oreal. I appreciate that. I'd like to first talk a little bit about GlobalPlatform as an organization for those people who may not be familiar with us. GlobalPlatform is the standard for managing applications on secure chip technology. Now, we're going to be talking at length today about the TEE itself, but there are two additional and significant areas of standardization work that are being performed by GlobalPlatform that I'd also like to call attention to. The first is the area of secure element. And as you can see from the illustration here, GlobalPlatform's work on secure element is form factor agnostic. Whether that secure element is embedded in a plastic card, is in the form of a UICC or an embedded UICC or a smart micro SD card, for us, we're agnostic to those form factors and service all. We're also involved in creating secure messaging, and this messaging is important and used amongst all actors in the ecosystem. Now, as shown by the bottom illustration here, our technology is relevant across all vertical markets, and I'll be mentioning a little bit more about that a bit later. Let's talk about the value proposition of GlobalPlatform. And I'll be using an infographic on this screen to kind of lay out the value proposition for you. This is the landscape for a service provider wanting to deploy a value-added service in today's world. To reach each and every customer, a service provider needs to either abandon the objective of providing a secure and frictionless experience or invest to learn different security architectures and solutions provided by multiple providers. Also, end users may select very different device factors that make this problem even more complex. GlobalPlatform's standardized infrastructure empowers service providers to develop services once and deploy across different markets, devices, and channels. GlobalPlatform's security and privacy parameters enable dynamic combinations of secure and non-secure services from multiple providers on the same device, providing a foundation for market convergence and innovative new cross-sector partnerships. The technology's widespread global adoption across finance, mobile telecom, government, premium content, automotive, healthcare, retail, and transportation sectors delivers cost and time-to-market efficiencies for all. Now, this work is done by the GlobalPlatform members themselves. And as you look at this slide, I'll call to your attention that there's a little more than 120 members of GlobalPlatform that organize themselves into market-focused task forces. And in these task forces, they explore use cases and business requirements for the technology. Once the use cases and business requirements are well understood, those requirements go to the technical committees where the specification development actually takes place. And those committees are our card committee, our device committee, and our systems committee. The two final points I would make about this slide is that if you look at the logos and understand the nature of these companies, you'll see that it represents all of the various actors in our ecosystem. And it's representative of all of the geographies and geographic regions of the world. Now, GlobalPlatform and the members don't do this work on our own. We work in collaboration with other industry partnering organizations. So in addition to representation from our own industry players, GlobalPlatform ensures that it is connected to and works with these other standards industry bodies to ensure that our standards truly reflect the requirements of the marketplace and are widely supported and implemented. For the past 17 years, GlobalPlatform has been working in the mobile space to define standards that will protect services. This has resulted in the deployment of more than 17.7 billion GlobalPlatform compliance secure elements worldwide. Let's now transition to the TEE, which is the subject of our webinar today. And I'll note that this presentation is aimed at an audience that is somewhat familiar with TEE technology. So let's talk about the GlobalPlatform TEE. For clarity throughout this presentation, GlobalPlatform defines a TEE as a secure area of the main processor in a smartphone or in any connected device. It ensures that sensitive data is stored, processed, and protected in an isolated, trusted environment. The TEE's ability to offer isolated safe execution of authorized security software, known as trusted applications, enables it to provide end-to-end security by enforcing protected execution of authenticated code, confidentiality, authenticity, privacy, system integrity, and data access rights. Comparative to other security environments on the device, the TEE also offers high processing speeds and a large amount of accessible memory. The TEE offers a level of protection against attacks that have originated in the rich operating system environment. It also assists in the control of access rights and houses sensitive applications, which need to be isolated from the rich OS. There are two central reasons why the TEE exists. One, an increasing number of mobile services which require a greater level of security are emerging. And two, with a growing number of users, there is a need to offer a greater level of end-user authentication, for example, biometrics, to protect against software attacks. Applications with higher security requirements and therefore heightened ramifications if compromised require more protection than can be offered by rich OS solutions alone. So what is the value of the TEE? Well, the TEE is of value to service providers, and first and foremost, it allows the service providers to protect and manage its assets, its services, its credentials, its end-user authentication, and its transactions from the back office. Now, there is also a strong value for the OEM to utilize the TEE. For the OEM, it protects key features of the device, it protects against attacks from end users or rogue applications, and it offers a secure environment for value-added services to the service provider. The GlobalPlatform membership understood the market need to standardize the TEE to avoid market fragmentation, because the proliferation of proprietary TEE solutions would lead to higher costs to develop or change applications and solutions when creating or adapting to proprietary platforms. It could also lead to the need for very specialized skills and extended time to market due to longer development times and potential integration issues. So by contrast, standardization enables simplified and unified implementation and improved interoperability between stakeholders. It allows a large ecosystem to thrive and blossom, encouraging multiple business partners. It protects investment in a way that proprietary solutions cannot, as it offers long-term stability. And standardization simplifies application development and deployment for all concerned, saving cost and time to market. But vitally important is that standardization defines a basis for evaluating and comparing different solutions, a basis for creating a foundation for a uniform certification process, and an ability to create a security baseline for all products, and a basis for promoting trust and stability between stakeholders in the marketplace. So for the OEM, this enables them to create a neutral offering within their device that can be accessed by all service providers. And for the service provider, this means creating a standardized API to develop the application, then standardizing the application management and the level of protection offered to the application. Essentially, creating an API once that can be deployed everywhere. I will now pass over to Gilles Bernabou, GlobalPlatform's Technical Director, to explain how GlobalPlatform is addressing the community needs of the TEE. Gilles?
Thanks, Kevin. Yes, I think it's very important to foresee the work of GlobalPlatform under this TEE community. GlobalPlatform, it's onset and request agnostic. We have proven our expertise on multiple markets in terms of banking, mobile authentication, IoT, and extra. And GlobalPlatform is well placed to bring forward specification for the TEE that can be embraced by all suppliers and reside comfortably alongside each on their request environment. So the GlobalPlatform members has been working together, and first has been defining efficient API to allow OEM to deploy, and of course service provider to use the service provided by the TEE, as mentioned by Kevin. This is not enough, of course, and we have launched a functional compliance program in 2012. This functional program evaluates products to the TEE specification suite. It promotes confidence within the advancing connected devices landscape by establishing an agreed industry framework for industry players, including application developers, hardware manufacturers, and software developers, by removing barriers caused by interoperability issues. Just after, GlobalPlatform has been defining a TEE protection profile that has been recognized and certified by the Common Criteria Environment to set the security expectation of the industry toward product supporting the TEE technology. This is very important to define this level of security. And of course, to answer to different industries that are wanting to deploy services on top of TEE, GlobalPlatform has been launched a security certification scheme late 2015. This security certification scheme includes an evaluation methodology that ensures that the scheme supports real-world scenarios and apply and align to product lifecycle. Of course, we have an independent labs that evaluate the product that conform to the organization. This security scheme will accelerate the deployment of trusted execution environment products by establishing a truly global, secure and interoperable ecosystem for connected devices that have been qualified, certified, and that will provide more stability. So I think there is different technology and it's very important to, in order to understand the value of the TEE certification scheme, to understand what we bring in terms of risk management and what is the scope of the TEE protection profile and the security parameter. Over the next few slides, we explain exactly how the security scheme works and the level of security that it offers. Let's start by a first vision, which is the purpose of the protection profile, is to ensure that, of course, TEE products successfully evaluated against it can withstand a range of attacks which can be created, implemented within a certain period of time, using certain tools and expertise that are consistent with current field information and technology. The GlobalPlatform technical community, and especially the TEE Attack working group, is regularly analyzing the different known attacks or attack methodologies that are available on the market. The TEE security evaluation methodology, it's updated to maintain the attack list consistent with the market and to stay ahead of the curve. This leads to a clearly defined security assurance level that can be leveraged to build a TEE-based service provider approval scheme. The GlobalPlatform TEE certification scheme supports EAL2+ with a strong focus on vulnerability. This means that the TEE will be resistant to attacks that come from proficient hackers. It requires the developer to provide API, architecture description, development board, and devices to the evaluator. Although source code is not mandated in general, it is a prerequisite to reach the 3-month evaluation that GlobalPlatform is targeting. So, first of all, the TEE provides an isolated environment, and using a combination of hardware and software for the primary purpose of protecting assets to the application running inside the TEE. By using a TEE, a service provider can rely on a kernel-level hardware enforced security mechanism to control access to the application data and to protect service execution, enabling them to manage risk at the device level. The creation of the isolated environment and the subsequent protection of application data and execution flow in a multi-environment open device relies on 4 factors. First of all, a secure boot creating from the root of trust. This enables an isolated environment to be created separate from other execution environment that resides on the device. As an example, in a smartphone, it can be an Android environment in a smartphone. Second, very important for most of the value-added service provider, state-of-the-art cryptography that allow protection of data and high level of cryptography. Third point that is checked in this environment, it's the integrity monitoring. From the boot process and ongoing execution, the evaluation methodology verify that the TEE environment stays always monitored and the integrity is protected, including the rollback protection. Last one, the memory management. It's very important because when we are working on the multi-environment application environment, you need to be sure that all the applications are really isolated. Let's take now a view on the services that are offered for trusted application. This is very important. GlobalPlatform works to evaluate the platform. And of course, this isolation is used by trusted application. So first of all, the trusted application will be isolated from the application, and the data will be isolated from the rich OS environment. A trusted application is an application running inside a TEE that exports security-related functionality to a client application outside the TEE. But the trusted application will be isolated. The second point, that the TEE, which has been evaluated, provides an isolation with other TEE. So each TEE will be protected to other trusted application. The communication interface between the client application and trusted application within the TEE, so the communication endpoint of the TEE, are protected, and we have a control application management inside the TEE. Of course, trusted applications that are using the trusted storage are sure that the persistent data are protected, the integrity, the confidentiality will be protected. Again, and it's very important for most of the value added, the random number generator, the cryptography, and the monotonic timestamp, very important for DRM market, are verified, and we verify that the TEE provide a high level of services. Something which is also very important, because we are checking the boot process to the system object, we enforce the authenticity and the integrity of the TEE firmware and the TEE. We ensure that the TEE has been loaded on the specific TEE on the specific hardware, and this link and this binding stays all around the life cycle of the TEE. And of course, a TEE which uses the API that has been standardized by GlobalPlatform to access to a trusted peripheral, as an example, a biometric sensor, the evaluation has verified that the access to such peripheral is protected by the TEE and stays under the control. So you now know a little more what the evaluation methodology is supposed to do. And I think it's important to see all the three, the technical communities, the protection profile, and the evaluation methodology working together. The technical community pulls together all the stakeholders within the TEE community to define the security requirement, and also, which is very important, how this can be implemented in a real-world scenario. OEMs, service providers, technology providers are working together to ensure that we are delivering the good level of security, but also the good tools for the industry to be able to pass the certification. This technical community is, of course, verifying that the protection profile that define a comprehensive threat, objective, security requirement stays ahead on the market and provide very good level in terms of typical threat of the hardware and the software, details the security objective. What is very important also is to see that the TEE protection profile is applicable for multiple markets. It offers a core set of features to ensure that the execution environment can be isolated, but also provides some module to outline specific security features relevant to a specific market. We are thinking about a module for premium content or a specific module for trusted user interfaces that may be used in a smartphone market, but maybe not on the set-top box market. And of course, the global platform evaluation methodology, which is created based on three phases. A first phase, which is the analysis phases, where we are analyzing the documentation, all the information that is given by the product vendor. Of course, the testing phases. Global Platform has a lot of tests to be passed by all laboratories to find vulnerabilities. This is very important because we want to slowly raise the level of security of the devices. And an enhance phase that is based on the analysis, the testing result, to perform additional penetration tests. So what is very important to see and when we are talking about real-world certification, more or less, if you take the smartphone market, some products are launched in the market in less than 6 months. So this is very, very important that the evaluation methodology and also the network of laboratories and even the role of Global Platform is connected to that. So Global Platform understands that the certification processes must be commercially feasible to be adopted and to be credible. So the TEE certification scheme has been designed to accommodate the specific requirement, short life cycle of device. Under the scheme, product combining hardware and software will be evaluated within 3 months of receipt of the start of the process. A fast time to market for TEE product has been identified as a strong requirement for the connected device community to reflect rapid mobile handset development cycle. The rapid certification process will not hamper development and we expect will not inflate costs. The time frame of the certification process cannot impact innovation or delay product to time to market. This is also why the methodology and the certification scheme support the ability to do derivative evaluation from prototype to final product. So as an example, some SOC vendors may be able to get a stamp on the SOC, and then we do a derivative evaluation from the SOC to the final device. This methodology evaluation may apply to prototype, to product, and of course to these derivative products. Global Platform has worked with its members to create this evaluation methodology that is transparent and support the product lifecycle based on the test suite availability, based on a set of attacks, and also a global network of laboratories to ensure the testing capacity within a local market knowledge and the language. Yes, and in fact, this is very important, and this is a quality stamp, because the evaluation of the TEE product against the TEE protection profile verify that all of the factors required to create an isolated environment and to protect the device and the application asset are present in the TEE that you have in front of you. When the service provider deploy an application, it's very difficult to know how much the device where the application is hosted has been really implemented correctly. So TEE product that has been certified by Global Platform offer a clearly defined level of security and are protected against vulnerabilities that are subject to widespread software-based exploitation. So by creating an isolated environment, the GlobalPlatform TEE certification can, of course, protect mobile authentication with biometrics. This is a very strong use cases right now. We are also able to protect assets inside the device. This is important to verify that the device is really protected and there is no possibility, as an example, to do identity change of the device. Something very important for the service provider, all the communication between the device and the backend of the service provider that needs to use some cryptography are protected, and then there will be no possibility to lose any data on the transmission of the data from the mobile to the backend. And the last point is that the applications that are inside the TEE, of course, are isolated and are protected. So I would like to spend few more time with you in order to define the attack, because this is very important, and some of you may know or not know the attack identification and the attack distribution, but I would like to come back to that. In order to successfully attack a system, a hacker needs to invest time in developing an attack. This could be hours, days, months. It depends on the expertise of the hacker and, of course, the tools they have at their disposal. Once the attack has been developed, there is another measurable period of time to consider, the time it takes to crack the system in questions. With the right level of expertise, with having access to a lot of tools, virtually any system can be compromised. So here, the decision is to select the right attack, and GlobalPlatform attack selection focuses on attacks that are subject to widespread through the internet, such as software attacks, and local attacks to the product boundary. The identification phase may be destructive, with limited sample available, but we are targeting hackers that doesn't destroy, of course, the device during the exploitation. If you want to have even more details about the quotation, we can see that, as an example, the attack quotation will use different points, such as the expertise of the hacker, the tools he's using, the time, the knowledge, and etc. So when we do the attack identification or the creation, we will make the sum of all these points for the identification. Of course, when the exploitation is used in the field, we need also to do the sum of the point of exploitation based on the profile. Do the hacker will use tools or not tools? And here is very important, because we want to deploy, well, we want to select attack where the exploitation does not need to destroy, that are less than 1 week with no product knowledge, because most of the hackers today are the user of the technology. So the GlobalPlatform certification requires resistance today against attack below 21 points, which is one of the limit that is used inside the evaluation methodology for identification and exploitation phase. So as an example, you take all the points from the identification, you take the sum of the exploitation, and we need to have less than 121. This is what is done in the attack group every month to verify if the attacks fall inside this 21 limit or not. So the last point will be on the technical community and how GlobalPlatform is committed on the maintenance and the evolution of the security scheme. So the TEE protection profile and the security evaluation methodology that makes the TEE certification scheme developed by GlobalPlatform technical community is really to bring together all the key ecosystem players to evolve, maintain, and enhance the scheme, and to ensure that it remains the best security solution for connected device. Because of this collaboration, the scheme is continually maintained and updated in response to new threats and risks that have evolved. either by members that are analyzing the thread in the market, but also to analyze specific requirements from different markets. And the security baseline that we are selecting is supposed to answer to a lot of different markets. The neutrality of global platform technical community is essential to support the development of the TEE security evaluation process, which address the connected device security requirement of all actors, all sectors, and of course all regions. There is today no smartphone which cannot be used in any of the countries in the world for any type of markets, and of course used by different actors. Global Platform is very open and ready to work with all actors through the standard-defined organization. As an example, we are working with SCSA for premium content. We will announce soon a strong collaboration on TEE certification with FIDO. And we are taking that as an input for market-specific requirement for consideration. Either different markets are requesting that, so it will be integrated inside the protection profile. Either we are considering to develop specific module, so in specific market or a specific form factor, we will be able to have an extension of the protection profile that will be developed under the module. So feedback, comments on the future roadmap of the TEE protection profile are very welcome, and all appropriate engagement will be considered, such as partnership to build complementary certification processes, where global platform certification can bring a pre-approved platform level certification. So Kevin, I hope that now you will be able to talk and to talk about the benefits of the Global Platform TEE Security Scheme and exactly who benefits from this TEE Security Certification Scheme.
Gilles, I don't think Kevin's back on with us.
So we completely lose Kevin. So, so of course, there is multiple benefits for all the stakeholders of the ecosystem. The technical and the security framework offered by Global Platform brings clarity to the market, and the benefits are very different because, as an example, industry body working with the TEE space and looking to advance universal requirements and features. They can also use the Global Platform Security Scheme as part of their certification requirements, streamlining product testing and certification time. National certification body can connect with the expert of the Global Platform technical community and streamline and learn or also implement a set of regional standards using this technical community. Chipset manufacturer and OEM will be able to prove the security of the product to an internationally industry recognized standard, future-proofing the product to the long-term market needs. Service provider can develop a service once and deploy everywhere across multiple ecosystems and devices, which not only saves time and money, but enables them to implement a universal and consistent risk management strategy across connected devices. This will simplify drastically the development process, because in the development process, of course, if you have different targets, you need to have a strong risk management. Thanks to this unique information and unique level of evaluation, you will drastically simplify the deployment process. And of course, security labs that have the opportunity to play an active role in the evolution of the TEE security and can connect to high growth market. Here we are talking again back to the first infographic about a lot of devices from different markets, from the smartphone to the tablet to the set-top boxes. So I think, L'Oréal, it's a good time to conclude this webinar.
Yes, so thank you, Gilles. So we would like to share a few resources with you. So if you'd like to get more information on TEE, we provide a number of resources such as white papers, videos, the specifications and technical documents on our website at globalplatform.org. In addition, we host a number of TEE events throughout the year, including trainings and developer workshops. We also host an annual TEE seminar, and our 4th annual event will be held in Santa Clara, California this year on October 13th. This year's theme is Connected Device Security for Today and Tomorrow. And the seminar is a great way to hear about the latest TEE use cases and network with industry peers. So we hope you'll consider joining us there. So let's move to the Q&A session. And we received a number of questions asking how to get a copy of this presentation. So we will be emailing the presentation to all participants after the webinar, along with a 5-question survey. We would appreciate your feedback. And as a reminder, if you would like to submit a question, you can do so using the question box in the GoToWebinar and hit send. So we do have a number of questions that I'd like to pose to Gilles, since Kevin's having technical difficulties. So Gilles, the first question is, what does GlobalPlatform mean by a well-defined security level?
Again, this is very important for the service provider to have a very clear vision of what is done during the evaluation process. So the evaluation methodology is defined in 3 phases. The first phase of analysis, so you know exactly what has been analyzed. The second phase is the testing, because we want to find vulnerability. We have a very strong test suite to find vulnerability, and this is also a very good point for service provider, because you know each and every test that is done by a laboratory to find vulnerabilities. And the third point is the attack methodology and the list of the attack that we are measuring, and we are verifying that the TEE is protected. So these 3 parts, which kind of analysis we are doing, which kind of testing we are doing for the vulnerability, and of course which kind of attacks we are putting inside the evaluation methodology, this define a clear level of security. This is of course combined with the defined scope of the TEE, which has been presented, which is the isolation, the secure boot mechanism.
Great, thank you. Let's take one more question, and what we'll do is we had a lot of great questions that we've run out of time to respond to, so we will respond to all questions and send those out to all participants. So last question, Gilles, is with security threats emerging daily, how often will the protection profile and GlobalPlatform security methodology be updated?
So this is a good question, because of course this is something that we need to share with service provider, with the OEM, and with the chipset makers. So currently, again, the attacks are analyzed. Every 6 months we have a new list of attacks. This new list of attacks may or may not have an impact on the TEE protection profile, but we still need to have a list of attacks every 6 months. We plan to have a new protection profile every 12 to 18 months to slowly raise the bar in terms of both the scope of evaluation and the level of evaluation.
Great, thank you. So as I mentioned, we have a lot of great questions we weren't able to get to, so we will respond to those and send those out along with a copy of the presentation and a 5-question survey. So with that, I would like to thank our presenters and to you for attending today's seminar. And with one final thanks, I will now close this webinar.